and teach. Because so far, even Brazil right now, Brazil does not even want to consider themselves anything African.
Because this whole thing, this
and
self-hatred
and
thing
60% of the whole country is African.
Because this self-hatred, this genocide we talk about, it's happening all over. It didn't start with us. Let's just be real.
Yeah, it didn't. Of course.
It didn't start with us. Of course.
We don't work out of hood. Ain't no books in the hood. I don't know if it's like that in DC, but out here, we ain't got no books in the hood. So you get shitty funding for shitty education. So now you have shitty education and people with shitty education who are perpetrating and perpetrating shitty things. So everything you're getting in the ghetto is shitty because it's a shitty place.
The minute you start caring about anything, the minute you start taking, and this is the best thing that I think President Obama ever said about black people, is what we need to start taking more personal responsibility in our own situations. The minute people stop looking for everything that's going wrong and start taking personal responsibility, like this brother said, for the things that they're doing and for the things that they're not doing, the ghetto isn't the ghetto anymore. No matter what the resources are, our people came from absolutely nothing and made the world out of it. Or none of us would be here right now.
Wait. We're not just more than hip-hop.
They didn't have all of the most recent books or resources, the best housing, the best teachers, but they taught themselves. They held themselves to a higher standard of living. No matter what they were living in, what they were wearing, what people were trying to give them, we all got to take that same kind of personal responsibility.
In Montgomery, Alabama, the black people in that whole town united and said, we're not riding the bus for over 13 months. Rain, snow. They actually were giving tickets to people who would help them to pick them up and take them, especially the ladies who they were working for. And they were like, well, I have to get her here. And they would not ride those buses and got that changed. That's what we're talking about. It has to be that drastic. It can't just be a conversation anymore. I think we need to find a way to have somewhere where we talk about, hey, this is what's happened today, this is what I did, and would you like to help out with it? Or I decided to join Ceasefire. I decided to make some art that was actually uplifting and freedom art and wasn't just to sell a hit record and be the next person, but I'm trying to really do something. Do you want to get involved? How can we create? We need to have a place where we're continuing to talk about it and continuing to do things about it and talk about, not talk about, hey, I thought about doing this, but we did this today. A steady drip in the rock will make a hole eventually. We got to have hope. We got to have the faith of Job that this is going to happen and it's going to work. We can't just say this is how it is, oh well. You know how them cracks are today.
Now, because Richard Park, Olympia Fields, and like Tinley Park, all these areas so tight knit together, when they talk about business development and meetings, all of those representatives are there with each other in all one meeting. So Orland has just been recently added. And Orland actually is the sole reason why Lincoln Mall was going to have production on it, and then it stopped. So there's a new development coming to Madison. They finally been able to get one. And even though my dad works for Richard Park, he lives in Madison, he wants it all to be good. So it was a Chipotle and the Five Guys that was supposed to be there. And both of them are there now. And they, just to give you an example, 600 people that were lined up for both of those two places just to get jobs that probably filled about 50 positions, if that. But my dad had to fight for that. Like, literally. Like, with all the other representatives. And the main argument was the fact that they don't believe that the demographic would treat it the way it should be.
Somehow, and it was systematically done because both my grandfathers didn't get past the 3rd grade. Both my grandmothers didn't get past the 8th grade. That was systematically done. You can't tell me it wasn't. They believed in education. They believed in something. They believed in doing better. So it's the mentality. And didn't you say something about mentality? Somebody said something about the mentality earlier.
Yeah,
you got to change the mentality.
It's a mental thing.
Yes, definitely.
Now, everybody, I agree with everybody in here, but I believe, like I said, there's a reason, there's a system design that not whites use, but people with money use, the elite. And now we're going to touch on that subject. It's called the eugenics movement. The first person to apply this theory to a race, and a lot of people don't know, was the Egyptians. Okay? We started it, y'all. Alright? So I'm just going to be real with you. We benefited from slavery. They're the reason why we went through 400 years of slavery. Because we persecuted people for 400 years. We don't talk about that, but we did. God showed me that each civilization, He's given each civilization a chance to rule the world. And His kingdom will be last. But this last civilization, which will be the New World Order, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but it's true. They're gonna kill us through class now, because race has been consolidated in class. So you can't see the enemy anymore. People have moved up in status, so they don't really speak on a race issue anymore. So now we're in a situation where it's forcing us to work together. It's forcing us to merge our resources with each other. It's forcing us to become business owners. This is stuff our ancestors have been telling us a long time ago. Start your own business, start your own business. But we continue to ignore it and want to work a 9 to 5. Now we're in a situation where we have an economic crash and everybody looking for answers.
I believe, like, if we just, as men, all of us in this room, just stand together as one, say, look, I'm going to take care of what I got to do. Not only spread the word about how to do what you got to do and be positive, I'm going to just be that example. That way, nobody else can say there's no negative about me. I'm the one, I'm the leader, I'll be the one to stand out. I think if more men just stands out and then speak, it will be a lot better place.